If you have family members in the other rooms, text them and ask them to come in. And for the people who, sorry, Joe. For the people who are sitting down, this is a good time to get up. Stretch your hands. But don't pass gas, huh? Just stretch. No time for I don't think we have time for a coffee. But maybe if, without a coffee, maybe you can ask for a hug. Ask someone for a nice tight hug. Gives you the same feeling like a coffee.
Testing 1 2. Mic test 1 2. Testing 1 2. Mic test 1 2. Test.
Okay, if you have children, please send them to the children's holding center, the children's workshop upstairs. No children allowed in this session. So if you have children, please send them upstairs to level 3, room 3.5. Or so something like that. If you have children, please send them upstairs. Okay, so I'm announcing once again, this session is for adults only. If you have children, please send them up to the 3rd floor. Okay, so my mother reminded me, once you're done with the session, once you're done with today, please return your lanyards, these yellow long lanyards, please return them to the back so that we can use them for our next event, which will probably be 2,000 participants. For sure. Okay, so if you are lucky And if you are good, then you're in the hall and you're ready to start. If not, you will have to answer God. Okay? Okay, a few announcements. Very important. Today, do you remember me talking about this contribution box? No. There's a contribution box at the back. And when I lifted the box, guess what? I shook it and there was a sound. Is that a good news or bad news? Bad news. I should be shaking it and it should have no sound because it should be so full. So we have a lot to do. I shouldn't be able to lift it. Okay. So, if you can, I mean, we're not forcing everyone, but I think what we're really doing is reminding you, if you can, please put a contribution in. Even 5 ringgit or 10 ringgit will make a big difference. At the end of today's session, there will be the crew will be handing out brown envelopes for collection, the box for you to just throw something in. And if you rather do it through with your bank details and things like that, there are white envelopes at the back. Go and, get that organized through a check or whatnot. There is a Marian exhibition organized by St. Ignatius Church. Most of the exhibition is in the rooftop. It is open today until 10 p.m. Okay, so if you can, have a look. Just Heavenly have donated 100 packets of treats for the volunteers to keep them going. So thank you, Just Heavenly. There are two items that you can take back with you for no fee at all. Free. One is, we have a mental health aid book, okay? It's a small little booklet. It's in 4 languages: Malay, English, Mandarin, and Tamil. Now, if you don't need it for yourself, you definitely know somebody who needs it. If you don't need it for yourself, you definitely know someone who needs it. So pick a book or 10 and take it with you and distribute it. Okay, after this session, after the day is over, we have about 2,000 chairs to move about. We have 2,000 chairs to clear up. Not only in this hall, but in all the workshops in level 1, 2, and 3. If you have a few minutes, we would really appreciate your help in tidying up the space and putting all the chairs away. So go look at the crew members in blue t-shirts and wait for their instructions, okay? For the ones who are strong, a lot of chairs from the room behind me need to be taken up to the 3rd floor, and we really need your help for that. Okay, all the housekeeping done? Did I talk about the contribution box? Now you know. Okay. Okay. So, we have only adults here, no children, all children in level 3. Now I introduce to you your next treat of the day, as if you don't have enough. Okay? We are fortunate to have with us Ms. Julie. She's a psychologist attached to Fungates, formerly a senior lecturer of behavioral science in the Help University for the past 10 years. She has conducted various workshops for parents, teachers, and students. Currently a trainee practitioner in therapeutic play and also a candidate in PhD in University Malaya. She is passionate about child psychology and parenting. And she has lots of golden nuggets for us. So can we give her the warmest welcome?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the warm introduction and for the warm welcome. It's definitely a great pleasure and opportunity to be able to be here. Can't hear, is it? Okay. So sorry, just give me a minute.
Okay, is this better? Okay, great. Okay, so I heard that you have already gone through the entire day, and I'll try to make this final session good enough for you with good enough messages to take back. All right?
Sure.
So the topic for today, or what I wanted to share, was being good enough. And part of it is about building emotional resilience. Now, when I heard about the theme for today, pain is real, but there is hope. And I thought about the children, young people, and people that I've come across and worked with all this long. And I thought about this term, being good enough. Because many times when I look at them, I saw them thriving. But yet they walk around as if they were hopeless because they felt that they were not good enough. Okay, therefore, I chose this topic, being good enough, trying to explore or to look at areas in our lives whereby we have this self-talk or self-talk, whereby we feel, or there are roots whereby this kind of personal self-talk comes into place. And we'll look at it in a while. So just an overview of what we'll go through. I'll briefly bring you through the term good enough and perfection. We'll explore what it means to us. I would also like to address the issue when perfection becomes a concern. So when perfection is not good enough, and what happens then? And then, of course, we'll look at the area of emotional resilience and what are some of the ways or what are some of the skills that we can build to possess this resilience that we are talking about. All right? So let's start with this. My question is, it's a rather reflective question, okay? So when we talk about good enough, I would like you to think about your own life, okay? The things that you are involved in, your personal goals. I'm sorry. All right, I'm sorry. There is a translation here, and I'm terribly sorry. I told myself I needed to be mindful about translator. So let's start with this again. The question. Okay, so do you?
大家好，我是彩晴，是今天这个时段的翻译员，不是很专业，就是希望能帮助大家能够更好的从这个讲座中学习。
Okay, so retracting back a little bit. So we'll start with the question about what is good enough.
我们由什么是够好了这个问题来开始。
I would like us to be reflective, to think about our own lives.
我想要大家去反省我们自己的生活，
to think about our families,
想想我们的家庭、
our job,
我们的工作、
the things that we are involved in,
我们所涉及的东西，
and how would we define good enough?
我们怎么定义够好了？
So what is good enough for us?
对我们来说，什么是够好了？
Okay, so let's just think about it. So when I talk about my job, what is good enough? What is a good enough job for me?
我们想想我们的工作，什么是一份够好了的工作？
When I think about being a parent, what's a good enough parent?
什么是一位够好了的父母？
Okay, have you thought about it?
你有想过吗？
You have some ideas about your standards?
你脑海出现什么标准？
Yes. Now, so keep that in mind. Okay, the way you define good enough, keep that in mind.
把那个标准默存在你心中。
And I'll introduce you to this.
我会带大家去探讨什么是完美。
Perfection. Now, how many of us here wants to be perfect?
我们当中有谁希望变得完美？
Okay, so that's a question. How many of us here wants to be perfect?
谁希望变得完美？
Okay, so there are some hands. How many of us here expect someone in our lives to be perfect?
有谁期待我们生活中的人是完美的？
That's not many. Never in your life before you have wanted to meet someone perfect, wanted to have a perfect spouse, perfect kids, perfect cats and dogs. No? No? Okay. Not really? Okay, I shall keep that in mind that not everybody wants someone else perfect. But there are some of us who may like to be perfect.
但是我们有些人会希望变得完美，
And I think there are many more of us who wants other people to be perfect.
也有很多人希望别人变得完美。
Now my next question would be, so keep all these terms in mind, good enough, perfection.
让我们记住什么够好了，还有完美。
Where did all this expectation comes from?
这些期待是从哪里来的？
So I want us to think about when did such expectations start?
我们
When did, sorry.
我们去想想这些完美的思想是从哪里开始？
Okay, it may take some time to think about this and to explore this.
可能需要一些时间去回顾。
And when you think about perfection,
当你想到完美的时候，
when I want to be perfect, or when I ask someone else or expect someone else to be perfect,
当我想要变得完美，或者期待别人变得完美的时候，
what are my feelings and thoughts around it?
我的想法和感受是什么？
Could it be possible
或许是
that this need or this desire of wanting to be perfect
这些期望，这些变得完美的期望，
is to please other people?
是为了取悦别人。
Okay, so if you think about some areas of your life and there are things that you really love perfection in it, ask yourself, where does this need come from? Okay, is it to please people?
是不是为了取悦别人呢？
Or to gain recognition?
为了获得肯定吗？
Okay, do I want people to acknowledge that, hey, she's just so perfect in what she does?
还是为了要别人看到我就是那么的完美？
Or to gain power?
为了掌握权力吗？
Okay, so because when we see people who are perfect, they seem to be in position of power.
因为当你看到别人完美的时候，他们就是在掌握权力，
Or is it to meet expectations?
或是为了迎合期望吗？
If only I am perfect,
就是当我是完美的时候，
my parents will like me.
我的父母才会喜
My
欢我，
teachers will be happy with my grades.
我的老师才会帮助我，
I will find a perfect partner for my life.
我才能找到完美的
And I
伴
will
侣，
have a perfect life.
我就会有一个完美的人生。
Or is it self-imposed?
是自己给自己添加的吗？
That we set standards so high
我们把标准设得那么高，
that we can't even achieve it.
我们根本无法达到。
So think about these questions when there are areas in our lives that we desire to do more and more. There's nothing wrong being perfect, but think about where it comes from.
完美并没有错，但是就是去想想这些想法是从哪里开始的。
Okay? And the reason why I'm asking you to think about all this
我叫你们想的原因，
is because sometimes
是因为有时候
when we strive for perfection,
我们在追求完美的时候，
we become hurt in the process.
我们也受伤害。
Okay? Now, Brené Brown is one of, it's a university professor,
Brené Brown 是一位大学教授，
and her research areas is in the area of vulnerability, courage, and shame. You
他
might,
他研究的领域是易损性、勇气还有耻辱。
you might have come across some books she have authored and also some TED Talks.
你可能有看过他的书本，
So in one of her study,
在他的其中一个研究中，
she quoted this, or in one of the findings of her study, she actually said this.
她说了这些话。
She said what emerged from what she was looking at from her data
她说这些数据为我来说，
is that when people strive for perfection,
当人在追求完美的时候，
it wasn't to strive for excellence or it wasn't a healthy striving.
并不是为了杰出或为健康而奋斗，
Instead,
其实
it was a thinking and feeling that says this:
这是一种想法和感受说，
if I look perfect
如果我可以变得完美，
and I do things perfectly,
做东西做得完美，
then
那么
I can avoid and minimize shame
我可以避免或减少耻辱、
as well as judgment.
判断。
Now, the point about this is the underlying motivation of perfection. The root of perfection.
这个就是完美的基础，
And it becomes a problem when we use perfection as a shield to protect us.
当我们用完美来作为我们的盾牌的时候，这将会是一个问题。
Okay, so the problem with using perfection as a shield is that when we are in shame, we are actually not seeing the big picture.
当我们在处于羞辱的时候，我们会用完美来保护自己。
And when we are not seeing the big picture,
当我们看到不能看全面的时候，
we fail to examine or we fail to recognize our strengths and limitation.
我们没有办法看到我们的长处和短处。
Okay, is everyone with me so far? Okay, so let me just give you a simple example. I'll use myself as an example. So standing right here in front of you, all right,
我站在你们面前，
I wish that I will deliver a perfect session.
我希望我可以把一个完美的时段，
And in the midst of wishing or wanting to deliver a perfect session,
当我想要呈现一个完美的讲座的时候，
I become too afraid or too fearful about the minor things that's going on.
我变得对于小事情，我也会觉得很害怕。
So I'm afraid about the little pauses that I have to make right now. I know I'm stumbling.
我会害怕，我要一直停顿，
I'm afraid about what you may think about me after this.
我也会担心你们会怎么看我。
And if I keep focusing my thoughts on that,
如果我一直专注在这一些想法，
I'm missing the big picture of this talk.
我就会错过了大体，
And the big picture of presenting this talk
整体的呈现方式，
is at the end of the day to hopefully able to send you back with some messages or some skills that you can use throughout your life.
这个整体的呈现，就是我到最后我需要把一些讯息带给你们。
All right, so that's basically looking at the big picture and not, not being shameful about some things that we do. Now, it becomes a concern. So perfectionism becomes a concern when it derives from the fear of failure.
完美主义需要被关注。如果这一个想法是因为害怕失败而导致的。
Now, I've seen many students
我看过很多学生，
whereby I think like in earlier on, I told you that I see that they were thriving.
他们在挣扎。
So in the past, when I supervised some of their work,
当我在监督他们的工作的时候，
to me, it was a good piece to be submitted.
我觉得他们已经做得不错了。
But many times, because they felt that it was not perfect,
可是很多时候他们觉得还是不够好，
they started to feel shameful about their work,
他们对自己的作品觉得耻辱，
and it ended up with them not submitting their work.
到最后他们决定不交他们的作品。
So not being able to get A is one thing,
拿不到 A 是一个点，
but they totally miss the point
但是他们完全错过了
that it's still a process.
那一个
Learning is still a process.
那一个过程。
Okay, so perfectionism is a concern when it is is driven by fear of failure. Yeah. And my second point is about an imposter syndrome. Now, sometimes we go about trying to pretend to do things that we think that we are not good enough.
有时候我们会做一些事情，我们认为我们做的事情，我们觉得我们做的还不够好。
And it becomes a problem when we spend so much energy or time into doing those things. That's why it's imposter. We are pretending.
当我们觉得我们有这样子的想法的时候，我们会花很多的时间和精力去让自己变得更好。
Okay, and we are basically just spending too much energy on that. That's why it becomes a problem. And there is also a problem when even after certain kind of achievements, so there are some of us who can achieve a lot, and even after those achievements, there is still a sense of painful insecurities.
有些时候，即使我们有了非常卓越的成就，我们仍然会觉得缺乏安全感，还有自我怀疑。
And when all this painful feeling comes in,
当这些痛苦的思想到来的时候
it，hampers our ability to move on.
它会阻碍我们继续向前的能力。
All right? So perfectionism is perfectly fine,
完美主义是没有问题的，
but we must be aware of where it comes from and what drives us to perfectionism.
我们必须很注意这一个想法是从哪里来的。
Now, very quickly, I'll just give you, before that, so when we talk about good enough, when I term the topic good enough, it's about having a mindset of excellence.
当我在说够好了的时候，就是说就是要拥有一个杰出的心态。
So after today, don't go back and say, okay lah, no need to be perfect. So let's just take a step back and relax. It's not about being complacent.
不是说要变得懒散，
But it's still having the mindset of excellence and to set our mind to do the best in everything that we've been given to do.
而是要做到最好，以及
Yeah.
尽力而为。
And when you have done that,
当我们做到的时候，
to recognize that those effort is good enough.
我们要承认那些付出是已经够好了。
So some of these examples or some of these people, I'm sure you have heard of them. Walt Disney,
以下有一些例子，
yeah, you've seen his work. Now, some of the things that has been said to him was that he lacked imagination and good ideas. Imagine people saying that to Walt Disney.
华特迪士尼，他很出名的就是他的点子。
Oprah Winfrey, she was once told that she was too emotionally invested in her stories.
Oprah Winfrey 在他的第一份主播工作的时候，被电视台说他的节目太情绪化了。
Another one, Dr. Seuss,
Dr. Seuss
famous for his children's storybooks. Yeah.
是一位著名的儿童故事书作者。
His first book was rejected by 27 publishers. Imagine that.
他的第一本书被27家出版社拒绝出版。
27 publishers, and it didn't get him down.
即使被27家出版社拒绝，但是并没有把他打
Now,
消。
my point is these people, they have a mindset of excellence.
这些人拥有一个想要做得更好的那个想法，
They were not perfect.
他们并不完美。
In fact, I think they recognized that as much as they wanted to be perfect in some of their work, they were not perfect.
他们即使在他们的工作中想要做得完美，但是他们还是不完美的。
But I believe that they recognized that they were good enough.
但是我相信他们承认他们是已经够好了，
And they developed the necessary skills
他们也建立所需要的技巧，
to move on
来继续向前，
until they made something out of their life.
直到他们在他们的生活中做到一些成就。
So I came across this simple, this little phrase or this little thing on resilience.
我把这个英文字 resilience 做成一些容易记得的点子。
From a children's website, and I thought it was very interesting. So you see the acronym for each of it, for each of the letter in resilience. R is remember you are good enough.
就是记得你已经够好了。
To recognize that everyone is different.
就是每个人都是独特的。
S is to stop comparing yourself.
S 就是停止与他人做比较。
Now I like I because I says individuality rocks.
I 就是个人的基石。
Now we live in a system whereby we try to make everything standardized.
我们生活在一个我们要让每一个东西都有一定的水准。
Everybody needs to be the same.
每个人需要变得一样。
We need to get the same kind of A's. We need the same kind of results like the A's. We need to achieve the same goals. So individuality is okay.
我们可以变得跟别人不一样。
L, learn something new daily.
L 每日学习一些新东西。
Sometimes we forget about that as time goes by.
很多时候我们都会把这个忘记了。
Another I is to involve yourself in what you love doing.
I 做你爱做的事情。
E, enjoy things that make you happy.
享受能让你快乐的事情。
And N is something that I like to tell young children. Not everyone can be first, second, third.
And 不是每一个人都能成为第一名、第二名或者第三名。
My daughter just came back, I think on Thursday,
我的女儿上个星期回来，
and she told me she didn't make it for a singing competition.
她告诉我她不能参加歌唱比赛。
And when I asked her a little bit more, how many people was selected for the singing competition?
我问她多少个人被晋级的时候，
She said 30 out of the 200 students in her entire year.
她说从200个人选出30位。
So I told her that
我告诉她
30 out of 200
200个人里面选出30位，
is not too bad actually.
还不错。
And not everybody can get the first, second, and third place in that singing competition.
并不是每个人可以拿到第一、第二或第三名。
Yeah, so not everybody can get first, second, and third, although, it's nice, but to remember that. C is about caring yourself and others.
C 顾及自己和他人。
And to expect that some days may not be great.
有心理准备，不是每一天都是那么的美好。
I think sometimes these days we are bombarded with ideas that, everybody's life is perfect.
在现代这个时候，我们有很多资讯告诉我们，很多人的生活都是很完美的。
And everybody, when they post pictures on Facebook or on Twitter and things like that, everybody's smiling most of the time.
他们在社交媒体上所放出来的照片，他们都在笑。
There's perfect families, perfect pets, and everything is beautiful.
好像都有很美好的家庭。
That sometimes we forget that some days won't be great, and people don't post that up on social media. Now, so moving into the next part, looking at emotional resilience, I would just like to bridge this. So when we look at good enough and emotional resilience, the connection is between, like what I've mentioned earlier on, the source of where our thinking is coming from. All right? So when we look at emotional resilience, to define it first, we are looking at the ability to adapt to various situations.
当我们在看情绪复原力的时候，我们是在说适应紧张或危机局势的能力。
And not only the ability to adapt, but in the event we are hurt, we have the ability to bounce back.
不只是适应，而是当我们在受伤害的时候，我们有反弹的能力。
Now, emotional resilience can be a trait.
情绪复原力可以学习。
So there are some people who are just naturally very resilient.
他们就是天生有一些人就是天生拥有情绪复原力。
So regardless of what people say to them or what happens to them,
不管别人对他们说什么，或者他们发生什么事情，
it's very fast for them to brush it off.
他们很快都可以适应过来。
But the majority of us
但是我们大部分的人，
may need to learn skills
我们需要学习一些技巧
to build resilience.
来建立情绪
And
复
it
原力，
definitely can be learned and improved over time.
可以学习及进步的。
So these are basically some areas or some tips to build emotional resilience.
这里有一些建立情绪复原力的技巧，
And I will go through it in details. So the first one is about emotional self-awareness.
情感自查。
The first step to building emotional resilience is to be aware of our own feelings when we are facing fear, facing rejection, hurts, or any kind of painful events.
在建立情绪复原力的第一步，我们需要觉察自己的情感，在挑战失败的时候。
Now, for very young children,
对小孩子来说，
we teach them to identify their feelings, to label their feelings.
我们教导他们去认出他们的感觉。
So you've seen kids and you know they throw tantrums sometimes, they hit their friends sometimes, they snatch from their friends sometimes.
有时候孩子们会打他们的同学，
In situations like that,
在那样的情况里面，
we teach them to learn to identify or to name their feelings. I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I don't feel like sharing.
我们教导他们那些情绪有生气，有一些负面我们教导他们去认出那些情绪是什么。
Similarly, for adults, it's the same thing.
对成人来说也是一样的，
To identify your feelings
要认出那一些情绪，
and to go one step further,
再踏前一步，
to identify your feelings and sensations,
要认出我们的情感。
especially in events that stress you out.
当压力的时候，我们身体还有情绪会产生的变化，
Okay, so to be aware
我们要认出来，
and also to be mindful about what happens to our body when we are being challenged.
要对我们身体的变化变得敏感。
Okay, so some of us, when we are stressed out or when we are hurt or when there are too many things on our mind, we may feel rather anxious, for example.
当我们觉得压力的时候，我们会焦虑。
And this anxiety may also show other physical symptoms like, I have a lower immune system, start getting cold and coughs and
在压力的时候，我们的免疫系统也有可能会下降。
for some of us, it might be dropping into a level of anger.
我们也会觉得生气。
Okay, so identify all the physical sensations that comes with stress and challenges. That's the first step.
就是我们需要去认出，当我们觉得压力的时候，我们身体还有情绪上会有什么，会产生怎样的感觉。
So knowing how you feel and what happens to those feelings. So when I'm feeling frustrated, what do I do then?
当我觉得不耐烦的时候，我会怎么样？
Then think about our thought processes.
在我们压力的时候，想想一下，你会有怎样的想法？
How do I quickly summarize a situation when I'm stressed?
当我觉得压力的时候，我会如何应对？
It could be a simple thing like, saying that I have not enough time,
有可能那个想法就是我的时间不够用，
or coming to a very quick conclusion that, whatever I'm doing is not good enough.
或者很快就判断说这还不够好。
Or sometimes we say things like that, if I have more time, obviously I can do things better.
或者会觉得说，如果我有更多的时间，我一定会做得更好。
Yeah, so identify common thoughts. What's our immediate reaction or immediate sentence that comes to mind when we are extremely overwhelmed and stressed out? To look at it, sorry.
要认出来，当我们觉得压力的时候，我们的想法 要认出那个想法是什么。
So to look at it, it's about perspectives.
这一些都是关于角度，我们如何去看事情。
So when I'm overwhelmed, when I'm anxious, when I'm stressed, when I say I can no longer do it, be mindful about perspective.
当我觉得压力，我觉得透不过气来的时候，我们就要去观察我们的角度，
Is it because I have the pressure to be perfect?
是不是我对完美主义的压力？
Could it be possible that throughout my life or somewhere in my life, someone once said that I have not done things good enough?
会不会是在我的生命里面，有人曾经对我说，我做的事情做得不够好，
And therefore I carry it with me.
所以一直留在我的心中。
And now, in whatever I do, despite getting everything well done, I still have this pressure to be perfect.
所以我现在做事情都会有一定的压力，
Or is it an all or nothing thinking?
或者是一个全或者是无的想法。
Is it, it's either I do it well or I don't do it at all.
就是我或是做，或是完全不做。
Again, I have come across a lot of these situations whereby I can see people doing things relatively well. And I think it's good enough to go out. It's good. It's like some of my students' project. I think it's good enough for presentation.
我看过我的学生有一些，我觉得他们已经够好了，可以成交他们的作品了。
But because there was just one area that they thought it was not good enough or not perfect,
但是他们就是觉得还有一小部分他们觉得还不够好的地
they
方，
hold back
他们就退缩了，
and jeopardize the entire project.
然后就完全不交功课。
Okay, so that's all or nothing thinking. Then also is there a need to take some degree of control?
是不是我需要有一定的掌控权？
Am I trying to do everything so that I have a say in everything?
我是不是在每一样事情上都要有掌控的范围？
Okay, and then finally the perspective of time.
最后就是时间的角度，
To be mindful that most of the time we do have enough time. It's about managing time.
很多时候我们都有足够的时间，但是问题是我们的时间处理，我们如何去运用我们的时间？
So some of these things that we can think about when we manage our thoughts would be asking ourselves some of these questions.
当我们在处理我们的想法的时候，我们可以问自己以下的问题。
Okay, I'm not sure if you can really see this, so let me just read some of these questions out. Perhaps I am confusing the thought with fact.
我把事实和自己的思想弄乱了吗？
Okay, so to think about a situation rationally and objectively, ask yourself whether you're confusing what you feel with a fact.
在处理事情的时候，你可以问问自己，对于这一些事实，我觉得怎么样？
Or am I jumping into conclusion?
我有过早下定论吗？
When someone makes a comment about what I do or who I am I just jumping into conclusion about some negative thoughts that I have?
当人给予评语的时候，我有没有过早对于自己的努力下定论呢？
Now, another question that I think is pretty important is, am I blaming myself for something that isn't my fault?
我有没有另外一个很重要的问题就是我有没有错怪自己，责备自己，即使不是我的错。
And also to ask ourselves whether are we judging ourselves too harshly in a certain situation?
也需要问自己，我有在判断我自己吗？
And the final two question was something that I brought up earlier. Are we putting an extremely high standards for ourselves that we cannot achieve?
我有没有为自己设了遥不可及的目标呢？
And to expect to be perfect in every single areas of our lives.
然后期望自己是一个完美的人。
So whenever a negative thought comes your way,
当一个负面的思想出现在你脑海的时候，
be aware of your emotions.
需要去注意你的情绪。
Once you are aware of your emotions,
当你注意到自己的情绪的时候，
think about these questions.
想想这一些问题。
Now, to help us a little bit more, these are some of the statements that we can choose to use instead of just thinking about negative thoughts. I call it the passive, reactive, as well as proactive statement.
这里有一些积极的反应性和消极的说法，还有行为。
Now, the example that I've given here, a scenario here,
这里有一些例子，有一个例子。
it says that you have worked hard on a project.
你非常努力的做一项工程
It，was hard to do and frustrating.
是很艰难又令人懊恼的。
Then a fellow colleague
一名同事却说
made some remarks on how it could be better done,：“
他说，其实你可以做得更好，
and pointed out that you have not been focusing on the right area.
但是很可惜，你一直以来都专注在错的地方。”
Okay, so you have already done a lot. You have put your whole heart and mind into it, and someone comes to you and say that actually you were not focusing on the right area.
你一直以来都在很努力的做你的工作，可是突然间有人告诉你，你的方向错了。
There are 3 ways to respond.
有三种方式来应对，
So I can have a proactive response
有积极的反应，
where I stay calm,
我可以冷静下来，
take deep breaths.
深呼吸。
When I know that I'm calm enough, I ask for clarification.
当我冷静下来的时候，我可以跟他要求更解释。
So being proactive, I might want to ask, so what do you mean by I'm not focusing on the right area?
积极的反应就是可以问他，你觉得我错的地方错在哪里？
Or perhaps if I don't want to ask the person, I can actually tell myself that I'll try it from a different perspective.
或者我可以告诉自己说，我会重新用不一样的角度去尝试。
Okay, so that's example of proactiveness.
这些就是积极的反应，
We can also engage in reactive responses.
也有一些是反应性的反应。
Now, reactive response is whereby you immediately react to what that particular person is saying or how the person have treated you.
反应性的反应就是你马上就对那个同事做出很立即的反应。
So these are like things whereby you get mad and lash out at the colleague immediately.
可能你会觉得很生气，然后就对那个同事做些不好的东西，
Or say, you know, if you are so good enough, you do my job lah.
或者是告诉那个同事说：“你那么好，那么你来做啊。”
Or some other ways we go about it is go and complain and gossip about the person. That person so terrible. After I've done so much, still.
又或者是你会去投诉，还有诽谤那个同事。
Okay? Or even if you're not aware of your emotional state, could possibly lose it and take it out on someone else.
你也可能会失去控制。
Okay? There are also passive response.
也有一些消极的反应。
You might have come across people who then tell you that since I'm so bad at this, I just won't do it.
你可能会想，我都不会做这个，那么我永远都做不好了。
Okay, so I'm going to take a back step. Let other people do it.
那么就开始放弃了。
Alright, so that's the 3 ways we can react. We can be proactive.
这是3种应对的方式，
We can be reactive.
可以是反应性的、积极的。
Now, reactive is mostly emotional.
反应性的反应多数是在于情绪上，
And then we can also choose to be passive.
我们也可以选择消极。
Okay, now these kind of responses takes time to build up.
这一些反应需要一些时间来建立，
So don't feel that, you know, if I've always been giving a reactive or passive response,
不用
I'm like that lah.
不用觉得我经常都是有反应性的反应，我就觉得我就是这样的。
Because it does take practice to be perfect.
完美需要有锻炼。
Now, let's try this. I think you have been sitting quite some time already, so you put your thinking hats on. I'm going to give you this scenario, and you are going to think about the proactive, reactive, as well as the passive response. So this is your scenario.
我们来看一个状况，也让自己去想想我们会有怎样的反应。
So I'll give you 1 minute. Think about the proactive, reactive, as well as passive response. Okay, let's hear from you. What's your reactive response?
你的积极反应是什么？
Let's do reactive first. Easier to do reactive first, isn't it? It's your natural reaction most of the times. Give a polite statement that it's not nice to be rude. Yeah. I think that's more proactive. If you are already telling him in a nice way, I believe that's very proactive. So tell the person that it's not nice to be rude, and I don't have to be like him or her to respond in a rude way. That's being proactive. Any other suggestions? Ignore the person? Is that proactive, reactive, or passive? Passive? That's passive. Check with them. Okay, so check with them what brought them to think that I'm too sensitive and all that. So that would be proactive. Okay? Or what made them speak? So why are you saying this to me? That's proactive. All right. So wonderful. You got the ideas of proactive, reactive, as well as passive response. Yeah. So when we are going through our daily lives, especially in areas where people say things that you find that, I tend to be a little more hurt. Sometimes when people make statements about me, and these are the areas that it tends to irritate me a little bit more. Try to think of it in this way. What would my proactive response be? What might be my reactive response? And what is my passive response? Yeah. When we think of it in such perspective, it actually helps us to be aware of what's happening around us. And it's one of the ways to build up our resilience. Instead of being too emotional and to react to the entire situation.
有时候在生活中，我们也可以有这样子的积极的反应性，还有用这种方式来让自己来处理我们的生活。
So these are some of the examples.
这是一些例子。
I think you have already got it, well enough. My next point is about purposefulness.
目的性。
So when we are looking at emotional resilience,
当我们在说情绪复原力的时候
another key point is to basically find the meaning of our existence.
我们需要问自己我们存在的目的。
Generally we go through this period during our teenage years.
我们在以前我们少年的时候，我们也有过同样的过程。
Okay, so the teenagers and youth will most probably have gone through this question again and again. What's my purpose here?
少年、青年们，他们都会问我存在的目的是什么
？What's my identity?
我的身份是什么
And as adults, it's the same thing.
即使是成人，我们也会有这样的一个过程。
Continue asking ourselves, what's the purpose of life?
持续的问自己，我生命的目的是什么
And in the midst of asking such question,
在我们问自己这些问题的过程中
create opportunities for self-discovery.
我们可以有机会去探索自我。
How many of you actually believe that regardless of how old we are, there is something new to learn about ourselves?
有多少人觉得不管我们活到多少岁，还是有学习的机会
Am I the only one? I hope I'm not. So thank you. That's great because if you recognize the fact that regardless of how old you are, how old we are, there is always something new that we learn about ourselves.
不管我们活到多少岁，我们生活里面还是有学习的事情，需要学习的事情。
When I work with children,
我以前在跟小朋友一起的时候
I used to think that I know better.
我一直觉得我比他们懂得更多。
So I'm the adult.
我是一个成人，
I'm the expert.
我是一个专
I
家，
know everything about you.
我知道你的一切事情。
But when I work with them,
可是当我跟小朋友的时候，
I realize that I'm learning new things about myself.
我发现我自己也在学习。
I'm learning about my limits.
我学习到我的极限。
I'm learning about things that makes me happy.
我知道什么事情让我开心，
I'm also learning about things that triggers me.
我也知道什么事情会让我生气。
So that's about self-discovery.
这个就是自我探索。
And in trying to discover our purpose in life,
在我们探索我们生命的目的的
we
时
need
候，
to recognize the fact that there are things to learn about ourselves.
我们需要肯定的是，我们有新的事情可以学习。
And not only that,
不止这样，
but to take opportunity to grow in it.
也把握自我成长的机会。
So if you find that you are strong in certain areas,
如果你觉得你在一个地方很久了，
it's never too late to learn more about that particular area.
永远不会太迟去学习新的事物。
In resilience, we also need to recognize the fact that we need to be adaptable.
在情绪复原力里面，我们也谈到适应性。
Now, if there's one thing that is certain about life,
如果在生活中是有一些是肯定的，
it's certain that there is constant change in life.
那个就是变化改变。
Nothing really remains the same every day, every week, and every year, isn't it?
没有东西是永恒不变的。
So there are certain goals that may no longer be attainable sometimes.
有一些目标我们已经没有办法再实现，
There are certain or there are specific situations that's no longer tenable.
也有一些情况是无法再持续的。
For example,
例如，
there are things that I can no longer do now because I have 3 kids with me.
有一些事情是我现在没有办法做的，因为我现在已经有3个孩子了。
So as much as I wish I could quit my job and concentrate on studies or concentrate on what I really love doing,
我也很希望我可以辞掉工作，然后再去念书。
I can't do that because I have to support 3 kids.
可是我不能这样做，因为我有3个孩子要
Yeah.
养。
So I'm not going to wallow into that and say, if only I could have been single and I have no kids and I don't have you guys, I definitely would have been somewhere else doing much better.
我也不会说，如果我是还没有单身，如果怎么样，我一定会有更好的想
So
法。
change is there, we need to recognize, and some things we just can't change, and we just make do with it and do our best in it.
我们需要承认，就是我们有些事情是没有办法改变的。
Now we also need to recognize that we need support.
我们需要资源。
Do you agree with that?
你赞
We
同吗
cannot be alone, isn't it?
我们不能一个人的。
And this is a very important factor in creating resilience.
这个是建立情绪复原力的很重要的因素。
Now, we each have our own ways of creating our own social support groups.
我们有自己的方法去建立这个社交资源。
So sometimes it can be, just making connection with family members.
有时候就是跟家人建立关系，
Sometimes the connection is with good friends.
有时候是跟朋友
Sometimes it can be with fellow colleagues.
或是同事。
So we can make connections with people that we actually feel very comfortable with.
我们跟我们很喜欢的人建立关系。
And I think that another thing that as Asians we need to learn
我觉得有一点是我们亚洲人需要学习的，
is that we need to learn to accept help and support.
我们需要接受资源还有
Isn't it?
支持。
I think it's easier to extend help, but it's harder to accept help.
我们觉得伸出援手比较容易，可是接受别人的援助会比较难。
I mean, that's true for me. I think it's very easy for me to just jump in and say, let me help you clean your house. But if someone wants to come in my house and help me clean my house, I will say, just wait lah. I think it's a bit too messy for other people to see.
我会很容易伸出援手跟别人说，让我来收拾你的家。可是当别人要来收拾我的家，我会觉得很不好意思。
So it's easier to extend than to help. We need to learn to accept help if we need it.
我们需要学习接受别人的帮助，
And then, of course, to create any kind of groups.
去成立任何的群组。
I think communication it has been made easy these days.
在这个时候沟通，在这个年代沟通是比较容易的。
So just create groups. WhatsApp groups can help.
我们可以成立WhatsApp 的群组。
Now I put this picture up
我放这一张图片呢，
because this is actually one of my greatest support group.
因为这是对我来说是一个很重要的一个群组。
It's just this group consists of 3 of us.
这个群组只有我们3个
And
人。
I think if you are sitting in front, you may be able to see the name of the group. Can
他那个群组的名字 Keep Calm and Mother On。
So if you can't see it, the group is called Keep Calm and Mother On. Keep Calm and Mother On. Now I'll tell you why this group. So I think nothing has put so much of emotional strain on me as much as being a mother. There's so much of emotional stuff going on when I became a parent. And my friends, another 2 of my friends,
我有2个朋友，
they decided to just then start this group called Keep Calm and Mother On.
他们决定要成立这个WhatsApp 群组。
The reason why Keep Calm
Keep Calm 的意思就是冷静，
is because we have been very reactive towards every situation in parenting.
因为我们对每样关于做父母的东西，我们都有很多的反应。
From feeding the kids
从喂养孩子
to their behaviors
到他们的行为，
to disciplining them,
到让他们自律，
their education
他们的教育，
and everything. So basically, we just thought that we needed to keep calm and continue parenting in the right way.
就我们3个人，我们觉得我们需要保持冷静。
And they have been just 2 of them, they have been the greatest support. So we talk from everything, from our topics are like from A to Z.
我们3个人的话题包括了很多，
And it has basically helped me a lot in terms of being my emotional support group.
这对我情绪上有很大的帮助。
So similarly, the rest of us, in your own ways, in your own community, between just 1 or 2 person that you can really trust, create those groups.
同样的，我们也可以在我们生活里面找出一个或2个人来有这样的群组。
My next point is about self-care.
接下来我们要谈自我护理。
Now, self-care in the sense that I'm not asking you to go and pamper yourself whole day and forget about everything in this world.
我的自我护理不是说叫你去忘记所有的事情，
But self-care in the sense that recognize your own needs, your feelings, as well as signals.
这个自我护理是要认出你的情绪，还有你的情绪上的需要，
And know when to take a rest.
然后知道什么时候该休息。
So we are living in a society whereby we are in a very fast-moving pace.
我们生活在一个步伐很快的社会中，
And we seem to be receiving message that busy is good.
我们一直都认为忙碌是好事。
If you're not doing anything, is something wrong.
如果你很空闲，你一定是有毛病了。
Busy is okay,
忙碌是没有问题的，
but we need to recognize when we need that kind of rest.
但是我们需要知道什么时候该休息。
I love the examples that people use, when you go up the plane and they give you the safety talk, right? And they tell you that if in the event of emergency,
在我们每次搭飞机的时候，我们会有那个安全的指示，就是说当那个氧气罩跌下来的时候，
so when the oxygen mask drop, you put it on your kid first?
当氧气罩跌下来的时候，我们不是给小孩子先戴上。
So for safety purpose, when in the event of emergency in the plane, oxygen mask drop, you are supposed to put it on yourself first.
氧气罩掉下来的时候，我们需要先给自己戴上。
And that's not because I'm selfish and I want to leave.
这并不是因为我自私，
It's so that it gives me an opportunity to put the safety mask on my child or someone who's dependent on me.
而是因为我需要给自己这一个的，需要先照顾自己，才可以照顾我的孩子。
So for self-care, it's for that purpose.
自我护理就是这个目的。
So when we need that period of time where we need a break, it's basically to give us a break so that we can do better for others.
当我们需要休息的时候，我们其实是给自己机会去做把其他的事情做得更好。
And to do that, we need to be able to set limits to safeguard our time.
我们需要为自己设定界限，来为自己保留时间。
And that also means being able to say no to certain things.
我们也要学会对一些事情说不。
And sometimes saying no to certain things can be relatively difficult
有时候是很难对一些事情说不的，
because we desire to be better, we desire to have certain things in life, isn't it?
因为我们想要在我们生活里面有一些我们争取一些事情。
But when our body needs the break, we need to say no to that.
但是当我们身体需要休息的时候，我们就是要这么做。
Okay, so know when to care for yourself. Now, finally, if ever you are not feeling good enough, I would like you to think about these 5 points.
当你感觉不够好的时候，你可以尝试以下的五个步骤：
Try to stop
停止
putting yourself down.
让自己失望，
Stop
停止
trying to please everyone.
尝试取悦大家。
That's not an attainable goal. We can never please everyone.
我们是永远不能取悦每一个人的。
Now stop living in the past.
停止活在过去，
There are things that hurts us
在过去有些伤害我们的事
because of
情，
certain things that people have said
因为某一些人所说的话，
or done to us.
或者对我们做的事情，
So stop living in that past and try to move on.
不要再活在过去了。
Now stop overthinking as well.
停止想太多，
Evaluate situation but do not overthink them.
要评估事情，但是不要想太多。
And finally, stop fearing change.
停止对改变害怕，
Accept that change is part of our lives.
要接受改变是我们生命中的一部分。
So that's the 5 simple points that I hope we can remember. If you don't remember the entire thing, remember these 5 things. Stop putting yourself down. Stop trying to please everyone. Stop living in the past. Stop overthinking and stop fearing change. Now, before we go into a time of Q&A, or even before you leave, I thought that perhaps you can think about this. Now, when you look at people around you right now, so if you were to look at the person on your left, right, front, back, if you know them,
我们看看我们现在坐在你左右前后的人，
can you think about one of the gifts
你可以在他们身上看到的天赋吗？
that you see in that person?
你在那个人身上，他的天赋是什么？
And if you can see that gift in that person,
如果你可以看到他所拥有的天赋，
perhaps you want to find some time
可能你要找一些时间，
to tell the person
告诉那个人，
that one of the gifts of the Creator that I see in you is,
告诉那个人，我在你身上所看到的天赋是什么？
do you want to do that?
你要这样做吗？
Maybe you can just look around and see, if it's your friend, family members, or people you know.
现在你可以看看你的左右前后，
Just affirm them about the gifts that you see in them. And also from time to time, I hope that you think about this. You think about your own significance. So from time to time, sit down, think about your own gift, and tell yourself, my significance is in who I am created to be, and my gift is whatever not. So what have people tell you about your gifts? apply it to yourself. And remember that because that's your strength. So use that to build your personal growth. Use that to keep your resilience in times whereby you really feel that you need that kind of affirmation to bounce back. And please tell people from time to time that about the gifts that you see in them, because I think that it's always easier to point out people's weakness, and we very often take for granted the strengths of the people that is around us. So make it our responsibility to tell someone from time to time that, hey, I do see a gift in you, and that's your gift. And you never know how much it may mean to that person for that particular day.
我们可以时常对别人多说他们的，多肯定他们的优点，因为我们通常比较容易说别人的缺点，那么就鼓励大家多赞美、多赞赏别人。
And with that, I will end the session. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Julie. Did we all feel nourished by a session? Okay, so we have a little bit of time for questions. Same thing again, ask questions, not tell long stories. We have usherers. No. We will have usherers on all the sides. Can the usherers make your way to all the sides and one person at the middle near the video space? We have a few mics. Can I take your mic as well? We have a few mics going around, and Julie will use the wired mic. Okay, usherers, come and get mics from me. Just raise your hands, and when an usherer sees you or when a crew member sees you, they'll pass you the mic. Yes? Okay, we have a question here.
Hi, Julie. Thank you very much for your advice.
Thank you.
During your toughest days when you're the most down, what do you do to bring yourself up?
I think for me, I recognize that I need to talk. So for me, on days where I feel the lowest, the first thing is that I will find people that's closest to me to share my feelings. Yeah. Thank you.
Anyone else there in the middle? Mic is coming on your side.
Hello. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Frederick. I would like to ask, in life, we always like meeting friends, which sometimes we feel uncomfortable. So the question here, how we can develop our courage and strength to deal with this kind of people, as well as to treat that kind of, uncomfortable people as a gift. Since like, when we see our good friend, so good friend is a gift, but how about that enemies or probably people that we are not really comfortable with? What say you on this?
Okay, so I think that the easiest, it's not easy. Definitely it's going to be difficult, especially for people that you may not feel comfortable or people that, you're enemies with. Now, I think that most of the time when we are already among people whom we are not comfortable with, our perspective about them tends to change and our focus is always on the negative. So it is my firm belief that if we take the effort to at least try to find something nice about the person. I know every time I say this, right, then people will say, there's nothing nice about the person, that's why I cannot like him. But if we try to be more rational and try to look at it in a non-reactive way, I believe that in everyone there is something like tiny little gift, tiny little strength that should be there. Yeah. So try to find that.
In the middle?
Hello, good afternoon. Actually last time I'm used to be very perfectionist, okay? During this procedure or the times, I'm hurt, disappointment, because I can't accept a silly mistake, even myself or people subordinate do it. Actually, I think this is very silly mistake. So I get very angry. I try to change, but quite difficult, but I tell myself slowly and it will be better. So maybe, do you have any advice?
Okay, so I think that, within some of us, it can be a habit or a trait that we strive for perfection, and I think you are already on the path for it. So being able to recognize that, and not only recognizing that, you recognize that it causes certain emotions in you that irritates you. That's already the first step. And I think what's necessary is to look at life or to look at things as a process. Because sometimes when we expect perfection, we expect people to be there or on par with my own standards that I've set. But when we look at things in a different perspective, in the sense that I recognize that we are all learning. And in this process of learning, there might be change. People make mistakes. We gradually learn to accept mistakes as it is. It's a gradual process. So the first step, you have already taken the first few steps there already. But to recognize that it's a learning process. So there is constantly change and people improve bit by bit at their own pace. And we also improve bit by bit at our own pace. Does that answer or does that help? I mean, when I think that, when mistakes are like, if you do think that the mistakes are really silly and it's objective enough for correction, then I think that's not about perfection. I think that's about things that other people need to recognize that needs to be changed as well. So perfectionism is not that I let go of everything. There are things in life that needs to be improved and we need to work on. So to objectively evaluate whether it's necessary for that change.
Good afternoon. My question is, sometimes I feel really tired. I think that's the time I need some relax. But once I want to take a break, I will feel guilty because I have a lot of work to do. Then a lot of tension appeared in my mind. I cannot have really relax, and I cannot work. Then things become worse and worse. So how can I deal with this situation? Thank you.
Okay. So I guess it's more of dealing with the guilt of having to rest, right? So you recognize the fact that you already need to rest, but there's always the guilty feeling because there are a lot of pending work. I think that's also something that we need to teach ourselves, that sometimes if I go on being tired, my work, the quality of my work will not be done properly. So one of the things that I've learned over the years is that when I need to take a break and there are 101 things that are still going around me and I feel bad that I'm not doing it, I tell myself that today is just for me to take a break and I need that rest. And if I'm on leave, there's nothing else that I can do that is beyond my reach at this point of time. So it's a constant self-talk. You constantly remind yourself that I'm not doing this on purpose. I'm not simply taking break in between, but I recognize that my body needs it. And at this point of time, I should not be made feel guilty. And with me resting, I'll be more functional the next day. So it's managing our thoughts. I think the guilt is there again because we are made to feel that when we don't contribute, it's bad. So we need to set that aside.
Ms. Siew, there's a question coming from Catholic Mission Kuala Terengganu. Question comes from Maria. She asks, if a person fails to build emotional resilience, what could happen to him or her?
Okay, so when a person fails to build emotional resilience, I think one of our greatest concern is that a person falls into hopelessness and despair. And when they fall into hopelessness and despair, some people tend to not want to do anything. So they tend to be very passive and they tend to give up in whatever that they have done or whatever that they are supposed to do. And yeah, so being in a state of despair or having no hope when they cannot, when they do not build resilience, or living life as if it's just, just for the sake of surviving.
Okay, I just want to know, when it comes to children especially, when they are being bullied many times, and they're being told off many times, when we talk about proactive, reactive, and what's the next one?
Passive.
Yeah. So I think the reactive is very important as well.
For children who are bullied?
Yes.
Yeah, I think for children who are bullied over time, most of the time you will find that they are in a reactive state. Reactive state, that's their natural state. And it's, I wouldn't say that it's a bad thing because for them it comes naturally to protect themselves. It's different when you are using reactive statements or reactive reaction to protect yourself. So for children who have gone through a lot, usually their reactiveness is basically to protect themselves for survival purpose. And yes, it's needed to protect themselves, but as they go along and if there is help available, they also need to learn the proactiveness of how to respond. But it's much more because for them they have been hurt and their basic need is basically to protect themselves from hurt. That's why they are reactive. Okay. I think that's so the statement is because the children who are bullied are always nice and proactive all the time. Therefore, people are bullying them. I think it's not so much of that. For their cases, it's very different actually. They are basically reactive. I mean, they are not, how to put it? These kids are nice kids, okay? So they are being proactive, they clarify statements, they stay calm. So for these kids in this category, one of the other skills that they may need to learn is to be able to be firm. So they also need to learn that skill. Yeah. So I don't need to be, how to put it, I don't need to be reactive and hit back all the time. But I need to be firm to stand up for my own rights. There are times that I need to do that. Yeah. Assertive, yes, thank you for that term. To be assertive, yes.
In building emotional resilience, would you say one of the skills is for us to also acquire how to step out of, say, toxic relationships or relationships with people who could actually destroy us? Because some people just have a problem for every solution that there is.
I think that's a wonderful question, and that's a really nice point to make. So there are times in life whereby you may see that there are some people who are just they just have to find fault with everything in your life, isn't it? And it's not so much about me anymore, it's about that particular person. So knowing when to step out on those kind of relationship that hurts is also very important. So knowing to put a limit to that. And that's also part of being resilient. Yeah. So between spouses, we cannot just run away from marriage, right? Then we got to take that courage or step to work on the relationship. So finding the courage to find proper channels to work on a particular area of relationship.
Okay, we'll bring our question time to an end. Thank you very much, Ms. Julie. Thank you very much. Okay, now 15 minutes and we have to clear out of here. So, did you find this today's talk useful, beneficial? So then, can we express our gratitude again by asking Father Philip to give Miss Julie a token of appreciation from AMHD. Okay, thank you, Father. Thank you, Ms. Julie. Okay, so now, you know when AMHM gives you everything, now it's time for you to give back. Okay? You want to know how? I know you want to know how. Number one is feedback forms. Feedback forms, you must write the room your workshop was in. If you don't remember the room, write the name of the presenter or something to indicate what workshop you went to. Because if you give the feedback form without that, it makes no sense in the data. Okay? Number two is, do you remember that box? What box that was? The money box. Okay, so get the money box, but we are also, our usherers are going to come to the middle of the aisle and on either side to pass around a brown envelope. So if you can, please, give us a donation. If you can't, because you only brought credit cards and you want to call us and give us an online donation, but you're so shy, don't worry, just put your hand in and take it out. No problem. Okay? So feedback forms, donations. Now, the third and very important thing is tidying up. Oh yes, we also want, the third thing that we want to get from you is your lanyards. You know? So, take it out and please give it to the registration or the desks at the back. Okay? And remember, you can collect the children's workbook or that mental health first aid small booklet. If it's not for yourself, you definitely know someone who could use it. Okay. Now, I told you about the 2,000 chairs. Did I tell you about the 2,000 chairs? Okay, I'll tell you about the 2,000 chairs. Okay, we need, for the chairs in this hall, it all needs to be stacked up on the side. Okay, but the usherers will talk to you and tell you about chairs that need to be moved from the rooms at the back and also things that need to be arranged on the third floor. So if you can, please give them your assistance. Okay, are we good? Okay. Okay, is that all? Is that all the announcements I need to make? Okay, there's a lot of people to thank, especially our host SIC, the youth that have been helping us tremendously until such a late time last night, the AMHM team, but also each and every one of you who have turned up, if not for yourself, for someone you care. So can we give a big round of applause for all of that? Okay, so now all good things must come to a good end. Can I invite Father Philip to say a few words and officially close our event for today? Father Philip.
Hello, my friends. How do you find our Mental Health Day? Do you like it? If you like it, give yourself a big applause. On behalf of our Archdiocesan Mental Health Ministry, I would like to take this opportunity to give my sincere thanks to our presenters, our guest speaker, who have done a wonderful job for the whole day, to share their experiences and knowledge to all of us. It is a pleasure to hear so many positive feedbacks from the participants whom I have managed to talk with a new insight which they have gained from the thought, from the plenary thought this morning and this afternoon and all the workshops. I wish you many success in your field of interest and hope to see you more of you in our future events. And to all our participants, I want to thank you for your full participations and your desire to learn about mental health issues and knowledge, which may help you and your community. I do hope that this Mental Health Day will spur you to keep on learning and practicing some of the earning points to improve your mental health. And please do not hesitate to contact us if you need someone to talk to regarding your personal issues, any issue which you find challenging to deal with. And to all our volunteers, we have about 100 volunteers who are making this event a successful. I want to thank you for your helping out to ensure that everything goes smoothly as planned. And thank you for your cooperation and teamwork to bring these pieces together, like the small gears in the clock which work together so that the clock will show the right time. To our Archdiocesan mental health team, especially to John, Lauren, and Maureen, thank you so much for your hard words, and give them a big round of applause. You have put in from inviting the guests, speaker, our team, promoting the event, contact all the parishes throughout the Archdiocese, and many challenges which you have succeeded to accomplish. Well done. My sincere apologies to all of you for any shortfalls or inconveniences which may have been caused by myself or my team members in organizing this event. We believe in improving to keep bringing you the best as much as we can in our future events. We also hope that many more mental health professionals will join our team, as one of the key objectives of our ministry is to be a platform for all our Catholic Christian mental health professionals to network with each other. If you are, please register with us at the counter for those who want to get updates on events organized by our Archdiocesan Mental Health Ministry. Kindly leave your contact details with us at the counter. And I'm very sure from the morning until 5 p.m., I think you have learned a lot of things. Even I myself, no? I'm sure that you go back and can share with your friends and your close one, right? So I think it's a very successful event. We have come to an end, and I officially close this Archdiocesan Mental Health Day 2017. And let us rise and we receive the blessing from the Lord. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord God, we thank you so much for giving us together this Mental Health Day, that we learn all our mental health knowledge and experiences. We ask you to continue to protect us, our community, our family, so that we are always healthy in our mental mind. We ask you to continue to be with us, shower us your blessing and grace and wisdom, so that we can continue to do your will. We ask this through Christ our Lord. The Lord be with you. May Almighty God bless you all, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Have a blessed evening. God bless. Thank you.